Good evening, everyone. We've had a little hiatus from some lessons here um, due to some preparations that I had to make for a presentation I was doing for the LCTCS conference and also going to the conference itself. So we're ready to kind of get back on track and wrap this semester up there. So you can be looking forward to getting lessons on a regular basis from now till I guess probably till the end of April. So today though, I want to look at Chapter 7, Organizing Personnel. Obviously, we want our students to work in our labs. And so we got to have some type of organization to kind of get those students moved in and working in a fairly reasonable and safe manner. So what we have is a number of work rotation systems. Your work procurement, obviously we want our students to be able to do things related to their particular course of study, whether it's baking goods, whether it's welding on iron, whether it's fixing cars or fixing trucks. They need to have things to work on. And there's a number of ways that that can be done. You can have models within the program that students can use and work on. You can also bring in what we used to call live jobs, where students will bring their cars or lawnmowers or things that need to be welded there to the classroom and work on them there and then take them home after that. And so we can all be kind of very creative in our approach to giving students the opportunity to work and do things that will prepare them and give them the skills that they need whenever they get ready to go to work. Obviously, if you're going to be doing work like that, you want some kind of liability disclaimer to tell the person that you aren't responsible for any kind of damage or anything that's done wrong on the project that's being worked on. That you obviously know that it's a student that's working on it. I kind of wonder about the barbering or cosmetology programs. If a student has a problem cutting hair, that could be a major issue. But obviously, they're taking a chance with a student who's training, and so having that will keep you from having any kind of problems with anything broken. Then task progress charts. You can kind of keep a spreadsheet or some kind of tabular record of all of the tasks that students have done. So let's say if you get a car in that needs brake job, you've had 4 or 5 students that you have seen that have done a brake job before. You have a couple of them who need to do that to get that skill, and so you know that I'll put those 2 students on the job. And so like that, everybody gets a chance to build some skills. Then a numerical rotation system where you'll have every student will have a number, and on these days, these students with the numbers will either do tool room duty or else clean up, or else they'll work on these particular machines. And so like that, you get a chance to rotate everybody in on a regular basis, and especially on machines that quite expensive, that you just don't have a whole lot of to go around. So it's just a matter of making sure everybody gets a chance. Then we have what are called cooperative education courses. These are courses in the business departments where especially at high school where students get to go out and actually work. Cooperative education teacher will go out and solicit sites, and those sites will take the students and work them 3, 4, 5 hours a day to give them some practical on-the-job experience. It's a wonderful program. All the high schools that I had the privilege to teach in all had cooperative education programs, and they were wonderful opportunities for students to grow, mature, and to really get some great work experience. And finally, with health occupations, those are a bit more difficult to handle, I would think, because you're dealing with some skills that require sticking people with needles. And I've watched our LPNs as they train. They'll first start on some oranges and kind of get the feel of that, and then they'll go and start doing sticks with a regular syringe, and being able to draw blood and place catheters, and certainly during their clinical rotation, these students are working side by side with regular nurses and experiencing everything and anything that can happen in a hospital. So it's important that the students get their hours in all of their clinical areas, and so the instructor has to stay on top of making sure that and documenting that every student gets their proper opportunity to have all of those clinical experiences, so that can be turned into the State Board of Nursing. So work rotation systems, just having some way to get students the opportunity to experience all kinds of things. Now, if we can't go to a business, then the best thing that we can kind of do is to take our labs and kind of simulate the environment of a business. And certainly there are some listed there in your textbook. I'm not going to read them all here, but one I do want to draw some attention to is the second point, an intensive business office lab. Some of our medical office assistants get an opportunity to utilize some medical office software called Metasoft, and they utilize a textbook that offers what I would call a medical office simulation. It goes by days. It's like about a 2 or 3 week period where they have some things to do on that particular day that have to be put into the database, that have to be printed out for the customers, receipts, and so forth, and the instructor keeps track of all of those things. And so a lot of our students really enjoy that particular portion of the course, because it gives them a very good idea of what it's like to work in a doctor's office or in a nursing home, because the simulations are that close to reality. If your school is fortunate enough to have a place for like a dental clinic, adult daycare center, home economics lab, those kinds of laboratories where students can kind of, again, simulate the real world. Those are wonderful things to do, and they don't have to take off, find themselves some clinical sites. The cosmetology lab, we have one in our particular area, and uh, people from off the street will make appointments, pay a minimal fee, and get their hair cut by students. And I guess there's, you can only do so much with a mannequin or a model. You got to have the real thing in front of you to kind of work with. And so I haven't talked to our cosmetology instructors to kind of get the feel of how they operate their lab, but I'm sure it works just like a regular hair salon. The agriculture lab, since agriculture is a very big business down where I'm from, many schools and high schools, for that matter, will take their FFA or vocational agriculture labs and kind of build them sort of like an agribusiness would. They'll have a shop, they'll have an office where they can kind of see both sides of the farming industry, and just gives them wonderful opportunities to be able to apply that knowledge in a real life setting. And then finally, commercial food service labs. We have a food service facility at the Lafayette School, and it has put out a bunch of #1 chefs who have started their own businesses, and so it has a very long, distinguished career or reputation, I should say. And I was just today, as I'm recording this lesson, that class held the first annual business or press club luncheon, where a bunch of legislators were out there being asked questions by the press from all over Southwest Louisiana. And I saw a number of students out there that were setting up tables, passing out food, and so they pretty well did all of the work, just like a catering company would. So that was great experience for them today. So we want to try to provide some simulations, if we can't have people out there working, that will give them an idea of what it's like out in the real world. And then the lab environment. Number of points here to make. First of all, student discipline. We don't want any kind of harsh play, any kind of games being played in the lab. It has to be business as usual. It has to be professional. They need to be focused. If they go to work, companies won't put up with that kind of foolishness. We don't need to either. And so transgressions of safety and discipline need to be dealt with right then and there. And trust and cooperation. Whenever students are going to go to work, they're going to be working with other people that they have to be able to trust and cooperate with. These kind of lab simulations provide that kind of environment for them to work together as a team. Everybody has a role to play in an organization, and it's those that play around, don't pull their weight, that make things very difficult for those that are doing the work. And so instructors can really foster a wonderful environment so students can learn to trust each other, depend upon each other, and cooperate with each other. The environmental factors, obviously, we want to be able to heat, cool, ventilate our laboratories, keep them clean, get students in the mode of keeping very clean work areas, cleaning up after they do their work. Once they learn those skills with us, they're going to apply them when they go to work. There may be some situations where instructors may have to share labs. Fortunately, in the technical college system, that's very rare. Although in the public schools, I shared a couple of labs with instructors, especially computer labs. So it's a matter of scheduling and staying on top of that students don't abuse equipment that the next group are going to need and they can't use because they're broken or something's wrong with them. So instructors that share labs really need to stay on top of those kind of things and work together, because that can be a source of major friction. The times that I've heard of issues taking place have been with day classes versus night classes, that instructors don't clean equipment's missing and things like that. So so a lot better just to have single use, but in some cases that's not feasible. And differentiated staffing. Does it mean that, let's face it, if I have a computer lab in my classroom, like I do, that somebody couldn't teach calculus in it, or maybe some other academic course? I've got the seats, I've got the room, I've got the smart board. There's no reason why someone couldn't use it when I'm not scheduled for it. And so at certainly the post-secondary level, scheduling instructional areas becomes a very big issue. Making sure that sections can find places to meet. I know for our developmental math, that's an issue for us, because we would like certainly to have a portion of our developmental math as a lecture, but yet provide lab time for students to do assignments and practical kinds of application problems in math, and using some computer-aided instructional software. Well, we only have so many labs to go around, and so many students that need those labs, and it gets down to personnel who can be in there to monitor the labs. And so you have a lot of logistics that you have to deal with. And so that type of differentiated staffing usually keeps a lot of deans up at night, trying to make sure that those labs are filled, there's no conflicts, and also there's no conflicts amongst students and instructors about how the lab's environment has been left. So that sort of wraps up everything for chapter 7. Not a very long chapter at all, and so I will go ahead and close this lecture right here and start working on chapter 8.